Alright, so we're running a little bit late this morning, but in my defense, I had the weekend of all time yesterday. Yesterday was a very stressful, is that the right word? Busy, overwhelming. Yesterday was a day, so we're here now. I do have my new microphone set up, but I do not yet have any of my filters from before because I lost everything with that update that I mentioned. So I still have to tweak some things, but I do have my new microphone. So we have that going for us. And I have an idea for a sketch that I think will be very cute. But it's a mystery sketch because I haven't done it yet. So I'm gonna be starting from scratch, which is not normally what I do for streams. Normally I like to have something prepared and already started for streams. So we'll see how this goes. Sounds good so far. Okay, good. I am a certified desk mic hater, so I didn't want to get a desk mic. So I'm hoping that this one stays pretty constant. And here we have an actual blank canvas, which I almost never start with for streams, so. Actually, before I even do that, I have to think about what I want this canvas to be shaped like. Because I think that should be fine. We'll see how the sketch goes. I used to have a desk mic, and I hated it too much. I don't like... I had mine on an arm as well, and I just hate the visual clutter that it adds to my desk space. I can't stand it. So I'm using a lav mic, and hopefully it continues to cooperate with me. Because I also tend to stand up and walk away from my desk a lot. Even on streams, I do this. And I didn't want to be tied or tethered to a desk mic. It's just not for me. I was doing something. What was I doing? I haven't had any coffee this morning. I barely slept. I'm stressed out from yesterday. I have a million things I have to do today, so it's going to be a short stream. So, give me grace today. Oh, I was going to get my phone. That's what I was doing. Because currently I only have, let's see here. I only have one monitor for my desk setup because I technically have two full PCs on my desk. I have my work machine and I have my personal machine. So I already have two monitors. It's just that one is used for work. And so my desk is already a bit cluttered, and as we have previously established with the microphone, I don't like clutter. So, let's see here. how do I want to lay this out? I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. You're going to have to piece it together as I sketch it. So you don't get any hints, you don't get any ideas. You're just going to have to guess as I am working on it what it is. And unfortunately for you, my sketches are pretty messy, but we'll see how this goes. I'm still not sold on the layout here, but we'll see. I guess I should save it. Let's see. I'm trying to think of how I want this laid out. Because I know the poses that I want to use. What you're seeing right now is why I normally have a sketch already started for stream, because it's just going to be like 45 minutes of this, of me staring at a very blank canvas and going, So this is why I normally already have something started. Let's see. Hello, Victoria. Welcome in. Do you like the Souls and Bloodborne games? I do. I actually got into, well, I had watched playthroughs of Souls and Bloodborne especially, but my first time actually playing one of the Souls games was with Elden Ring, and I absolutely adore Elden Ring. I've played through it 3 times, well, played through the base game 3 times and the DLC twice. So yeah, I'm a big fan. Bloodborne PC release when, but you know. Gosh, let's see. So. Also, I am taking name suggestions for my new car. Some of you are already acquainted with the fate that befell my beloved Joey, unfortunately. But I do have a new car, and the new car will need a name as well. So I'm taking suggestions. I think it just needs to be wider. I think I made the canvas too narrow. Let's try. Three times with Elden Ring. Yep, I've played through it. Well, so I have two character saves, and on my primary save, which I made to look like Cyril. On that save, I have beaten the game three times. I've done the let's see, what are I forget the names that are specific for the endings, but I've done I believe it's the Mending rune, which is Gold Mask's ending. I've done Ronnie, whatever her name is. I've done her ending. I've actually done her ending twice. So that's 1, 2, 3. I did another rune ending. I think I just did like the standard ending where you just fix the Elden Ring. You don't add like an additional rune. I don't know what that ending is called. I still have not done the Frenzied Flame ending, and then I've beaten the DLC twice. So I guess that's 4, and the DLC twice. The white pearl, it seemed to shimmer in the picture. I think the guy who was selling it, it was quite rainy and quite overcast. It has been for days, probably weeks now here. But he said that it actually does have like a pearlescent shimmer, I guess, to it. So it's you're not wrong. It does have a pearly paint finish to it that you can't really see in the photo because it's very dreary and overcast, but that does technically exist. Just call your car my ex. You can say things like I can fix her. That's what I've been doing with Joey for 15 years. I can fix him. He'll be all right. I can fix him. What was I doing with this? I was gonna change. Yeah, so I think actually what I want to do. If I go back to the original dimensions, what's that look like? No. Fine. See. Poor Joey. I know. The poor guy, he gave me 15 years of loyal service, and for him to basically be consigned to a scrapyard is quite sad. I'm very sentimentally attached to him, but I do have his emblems. They're right here on my desk. I took both. That helps a little bit to kind of narrow it down. I might. I don't know. I'm just gonna sketch in the poses that I have in mind, and I will go from there. I might want to change where the camera is situated in this sketch, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'm glad I get to keep the little piece of him. I mean, I still have him. He's parked in my dad's garage, because we're expecting a lot of rain, and obviously someone cut him open, so someone could just go back and hop in and try to steal him again. But probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to list him for sale as a junk car, because there might be someone who is building their own Mustang and wants to harvest parts from him. And so they might buy him for that reason. The other alternative is to just sell him to a junkyard, which I don't want to do, but I might have to. it's not a particularly glorious end for my little guy, but it is what it is. The new car seems more like a lady to me, you know, I agree. She's got a certain vibe about her. Let's see. My only disclaimer is that this is not to scale because I'd have to actually look up the heights of these different objects, but I'm doing this off the top of my head. Like something like that, maybe. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I think I'll hide that for now. Thinking. I'll just give her a little cute little. It's not what she's gonna actually be doing with her hands, I promise. Because her elbows would be able to be on top of the table. I never actually bothered to design this table. Like, and when I say that, I don't mean on paper. I mean in my brain. I never really designed this table. But if you've read the book, you'll know which table I'm talking about once I tell you. And this is technically, with a big asterisk, this is technically a scene from Volume 2. But there's a big asterisk there because Volume 2 has not been professionally edited yet. So the scene might be cut. depending on what feedback my editor gives me. Yeah, I'm sure Cyril would tell Bronte she needs to arm wrestle with him to prove something, and she'd just give up. She wouldn't even try. How's Volume 2 going so far? I don't know if I've counted out the words for Volume 2 because I'm working on Volume 2 and Volume 3 at the same time. So I don't have a hard word count yet. I also don't have a word count goal. Volume 1 was approximately 145,000 words, which if you get the hardback, that's like about 450 pages, to give you an idea. I'm not trying necessarily to make Volume 2 and Volume 3 the same length as Volume 1. I feel like they probably will end up that long, but they might not end up that long. But I don't have a hard word count because I don't have things separated just yet. Because I'm writing things out, and then I will decide which material needs to be in Volume 2 versus Volume 3. I'd say of the material that I know for sure I want to be in Volume 2, probably at about the, I don't know, 65-70% mark, I'd say, give or take. Like all the main story beats are there, and the main checkpoints, for lack of a better word, that I know I want readers to get through are all there. It's just some of the material in between and some of the fine-tuning, because you meet a lot more characters in Volume 2. So I want to make sure that that doesn't feel rushed or overwhelming, because you're meeting a larger portion of the cast, and you're also seeing a larger portion of the map. You're going to go beyond the walls of like the Windermere City. You're going to be out in the countryside. You're going to be in different locations. So I don't want that to be too overwhelming. So I'm tweaking those kind of things. Volume 3 already exists? Yes, it does. Volume 3 already exists. Actually, the intro, like the very first couple of pages of the chapter 1 for Immolation Volume 3 have been written for a long time. They were written a long time ago. So that whole scene, that whole intro is already written. But yeah, because I don't write in chronological order, I just know the material that I want to cover, and then I will go back in and I will fill in what I feel is hopefully not an overwhelming amount of information for the reader to get through. Are you pleased with what you've got so far? I am. There is currently one big plot point that it's not holding me up per se, but I'm deciding whether or not it's going to be a Volume 2 thing or it's getting pushed back to Volume 3. It looks like it's probably getting pushed back to Volume 3. I think that's going to make the most sense. I think it's going to be the least overwhelming, because Volume 2 already has a lot of material in it. And I don't want to overwhelm people. I had originally really wanted this particular plot point to be in Volume 2, but you're just going to have to wait for 3. So that does require a little bit of rewriting, not too much, but a little bit. Just a little bit of tweaking, but I'm happy with the decision that I made to move it to Volume 3. But yeah, Volume 3 is... Oof. Volume 3 is shaping up to be it's a wild ride. A kitchen table, they're probably in the bakery. You're correct. So they're in the bakery. This is the big work table in the center, which is where Bronte primarily works at. This is basically where her workstation is. Hugo has like his little alcove and, you know, his little table that's by the window that he primarily works from. But Bronte mostly is in charge of keeping the big work table in the center stocked and cycling with various stuff that they make. And Cyril is going to offer, is he going to be any good at it? I don't know. He's going to offer to help her out. So she's going to have to explain to him how like making cookies works, because that's not something he does. And I think it's going to be very cute. But let's see, because she's got, you can't see this like in the sketch, but I can see it in my mind. You know, she's got her little apron on, and I really think her apron is just really, really cute and very, very charming. So she's got her work apron on. And then Cyril, she's going to demand that Cyril also wear an apron. I just think that's cute. He's probably not going to have his cassock on for this. He's going to have his white shirt on. Because can you imagine getting flour all over that black cassock? The servants who are responsible for laundering Cyril's clothes would never forgive him. She goes back to working in the bakery. Of course she does. She is a baker by trade. It's gonna come with some challenges when she goes back, but she will be returning to the bakery. That is her trade. That is what she knows how to do, and she does enjoy doing it. She's not gonna be making a peace sign, by the way. It's just a placeholder because I don't know what to put in there yet. Let's see here. So first of all, I think it'd be cute if there's like a little. There's something there. Hang on. One of Bronte's sinful little books over here that she keeps trying to be really subtle that she's reading, but she's not subtle at all. Cyril's like, I know you're reading smut. I don't think my canvas is big enough to do this, but I'll try. It'd actually be really cute to have a little companion piece where... Okay, you're gonna have to tell me. On a scale of 1 to 10, how okay are you with extremely minor spoilers for Volume 2? Because this, you could consider this little sketch a spoiler, quote unquote, if you think of it in the sense that, like, Bronte is working in the bakery, and Cyril is like, I can help. It's just not, I don't consider that a spoiler, but you guys tell me. I love stories. I made it to a stream. Welcome in. So glad you could make it. I dread reading about people bullying her. I'll yell at you for that. Trust me, for as much as it's painful to read, it is much more painful to write. I promise. She's a woman of taste. It's true. I'm all good. Okay, okay, because let me... I'll keep it vague. I mean, again, it's not like a big spoiler or anything. Because if you've read Volume 1 or you saw the piece that I was working on last stream, which was Cyril in his study, and he's got all the plants everywhere because he loves plants. It'd be really cute, I think, to have a companion piece because in this sketch, I'm gonna use little like arrows to demonstrate my thoughts. So in this sketch, we have... That's the worst arrow I've ever drawn. Whatever. So we have Bronte. We have Bronte, who is kind of in her element. She's in her workspace. This is where she knows how things work, and this is her area of expertise. And Cyril is trying to learn from her, so he's listening to her, and she's trying to explain, you know, how to do certain things and how he can help her out and all this. Very cute. We love it. Love to see it. And I think it would be a really cute companion piece because there is another scene, shall we say, in Volume 2. I'm gonna do this. So there's another scene in Volume 2 where Bronte, and you see a little bit of this in Volume 1, which is why I don't really think it's a spoiler. Bronte, when Cyril's away for an extended period of time, usually Bronte takes it upon herself to try and look after his plants when he's gone. The servants could do it, but she likes to do it. It's something that she tried to do a little bit of with him when she was younger, when she was kind of more of a kid. So she's very kind of sentimentally attached to tending to his plants. And so there's a scene in Volume 2 where, as opposed to this scene where Bronte and Cyril are in the bakery, it's very much her area of expertise. There's a really cute scene with Bronte and Cyril in one of the greenhouses where Bronte's trying to tend to a plant and Cyril gives her his expertise on how to tend to that particular plant and how to look after it. I think it'd be really cute to basically have a companion piece to this one where we swap the position. So this is Bronte. Hello. So we have Bronte on this side, and Cyril on this side. He's much taller, obviously. Wait. Okay, there's his hair. And we have Cyril on this side, and there's like a plant. You get what you get what I'm saying? It's gonna be really cute. She should change the book's cover with something less compromising, like a cover for a book about bugs. Yeah, she should put she should like say that it's like a history book or a music book. That wouldn't arouse suspicion. Until Cyril opens it up and reads it, and he's like, "This is the strangest music I've ever seen." Sarah, welcome in. How are you today? But yes, so that's an idea of like two little companion pieces, because in this sketch, obviously, they're at Bronte's work table, and in the greenhouse, they're at one of the garden benches working together, and I think it'd be cute. I do think for this one, Cyril would, yeah, he would have taken his cassock off, so he would have his little short sleeve. Well, not short sleeve. He rolls up the sleeves for this shirt. His white shirt. Don't ask me where Hugo is in all of this. I haven't decided, because Hugo, like, if he was around, he'd be over. Wait. He'd be over in the corner like that. Wait, Hugo has curly hair. There. He'd be over in the corner fanboying. Bronte, I'm not exactly sure what she is explaining to Cyril, like what she's working on. Cyril doesn't have any baking experience. He can cook a little bit, but baking is a different different area of expertise. I don't remember if I stated in the draft specifically what they're working on. Bronte's generally, Hugo does make this comment. I forget what chapter it's written in. Not in volume 1, but like in volume 2, he mentions this, where Hugo has very warm hands, so he usually has what people will call baker hands. His hands are very warm. But Bronte has pastry hands. Her hands are very cold. So she's usually in charge of baking the sweets and the pastries because her hands are cold, so she doesn't melt the butter in them, which can usually lead to a flakier pastry, which is like a comment that you'll hear among bakers. So Hugo mentions that, and so Bronte's probably working on some sort of sweet. Bronte and Hugo specifically only bake breads and sweets and stuff that are for the clergy. So they're baking for a much smaller population. They're not baking for like all the servants and everything. They have their own cooks and mess hall that tends to them. Bronte and Hugo are trusted specifically with cooking and baking, well, baking specifically for the clergy. So they're kept very separate, and they only entrust that kind of work to other clergy. They don't have the servants do that. Is he shipping them? Yes. Hugo, I'm sure he wouldn't refer to it as shipping if he knew what that meant. He just thinks it's very cute because Hugo's not he's not much older than Bronte. He's a few years older than Bronte. I think I have him. I don't have his age in front of me. I have literally a chart where I have all the character ages so I can keep them straight. But Hugo, he's not much older than her, but he's old enough to remember, and he's been at the church long enough, kind of like Benjamin. Benjamin's actually, Benjamin's about 10 years older than Bronte. And Benjamin and Hugo both have this similar experience of they've been at the church for a while, and they remember before Cyril became archbishop and everything. They can remember some of the interactions that Bronte and Cyril used to have, where they were there was not as much tension between the two of them, and they were both happier at that stage in their lives. So they are both happy to see them kind of reconnecting, which you'll dive into a little bit more in volume 2. Because this man is traumatized. Okay, let's see. So they're definitely working on some sort of sweet, because that's typically what Bronte can bake bread. Of course, she knows how to do that. She helps Hugo do that. But she's usually in charge of the pastries and the sweets and things like that. Cookies, I bake for my church too. Bye, Sarah. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good time with your family. She'd probably be baking, I would like to think, like little pies or like a tart, like a small tart, like little handheld. Bronte usually makes like little, because these are meant to be served to many people. I mean, there's not like tons and tons of clergy, but you know, there's a good amount. So she makes like little individual ones, rather than having like dishes that have to be sliced, because that can be tedious, especially when they're on very rigid schedules in church. Let's see. think it'd also be cute. I don't exactly have... I have done a sketch where I laid out... Excuse me, I was trying not to yawn into my new microphone. I do have a sketch where I've laid out the bakery floor plan just so I know kind of how it works and I can navigate around it. But I don't know where I saved that. So I'm going to be going off memory, and basically the big thing is this is going to be all cropped down, I think. So like the final composition of this is not going to be as empty. It's probably going to be cropped down to like... something like that, give or take. And then I'll fill up the empty space with something, but I'm not exactly sure what. Because I tend to do centered compositions a lot, especially with, well, even in general, but especially with the like immolation artwork that I do, I tend to lean towards centered compositions a lot. So I'm trying to do less of those, but we'll see. I just think it'd be cute. When you find it, I demand to see it. Oh, the pepper tension. Hugo and Bronte are innate bakers, it's true. And let's see, so, well, I know that this is going to be, so that's going to be flour, I'm sure that'll be sugar. And Bronte can pretend that she has the cane instead of Cyril, and she's gonna whap him with a spatula. It's fine, he probably deserves it. I'm just kidding, she'd never have the courage to do that. Let's see. It'd be cute if I had his little, like his cane over here, just kind of hanging off, because he hangs it off the edge of tables when he's not using it. I think it'd also be cute if they had, because one of the things that Bronte likes to not steal, but borrow for extended periods of time, is she likes to find old cookbooks in the church libraries, like really, really old cookbooks with recipes that like haven't even been translated into like modern quote-unquote English or common or whatever they want to call it in this world. And she likes to try finding these old recipes that have like antiquated measurements and antiquated terms, and she likes to try to convert them into recipes that you can make in what they would consider their modern day. So I think it'd be cute if she was maybe working on something like that, because she, for reasons I will not extrapolate upon, in Volume 2, she will be wanting distractions to help her feel better. She wouldn't, but she should. In fact, I actually need to bake cookies today. I don't even know if I have the ingredients for cookies. I hope I do. I need to bake cookies because I need to bribe some people. By people, I mean my landlord. What kind? That is a good question, because I think I have ingredients. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't know if I do. I think I have ingredients to make just like standard chocolate chip cookies, except I don't have the chocolate. By that I mean I don't have chocolate morsels, but I do have a little bit left of a bar of dark chocolate, so maybe that would be enough. Because I don't need to bake that many cookies. I just want to package up like maybe 5 to 10 cookies and like just some butcher paper and twine, and I'm just gonna walk them up to my landlord's door and just see if she's there so I can speak to her. I was going to bake cookies with my cousin and my aunt, but something came up, so oh, no M&M cookies today. Oh, that's a shame. You know what? Now that I'm curious. You get to come with me. This is one of the benefits of not having a desk mic. You get to come with me. Let's take a look at what I have. Because I only have like a couple of squares. Oh wait, no, maybe I have more of this chocolate left over than I thought. I only have 3 squares of dark chocolate. That's not very much. And I know I don't have any chocolate chips, but do I have... I have sugar. I have flour. I have plenty of flour. I have brown sugar. Do I have enough brown sugar? Ooh, that's not very much. I might have to do a half recipe, but that'd probably be fine. Because I don't need that many cookies. But so far, that's really just looking like a chipless cookie, not a chocolate chip. I don't know. I'll have to experiment a little bit, but perhaps I'll be able to just do like a really small batch of cookies and then just cut up that chocolate bar and use that. That might work. If I do like a half recipe, I can see how it comes out. Yeah, I hope the bribery works. Because I really need to get my car here at the house. It's currently parked safely in a garage away from here. I do still need to take it. Well, actually, I don't need to take the car. I just need to take myself to the government office to transfer ownership, but it is fully insured and everything, so I can bring it here. I just obviously don't want something to happen to it. So we'll see. Maybe... And I just hope that the landlord is home today. For all I know, she might be traveling for Christmas, so she might be leaving soon. I don't know. I would prefer to speak with her today rather than having to wait for the property management company to call me back. It's already going to be a little bit of a logistical nightmare with Christmas coming up and everything. I still need to get wrapping paper because I completely forgot. Actually, no, I have wrapping paper. What I need is ribbons. I don't have any ribbons. There, that's bronzy. No, Cyril, you're not allowed to look like that. You have to be smiling. Oh, that actually just looks evil. Hold on. We'll do that. And then I get to gouge one of your eyeballs out. Sorry, old man. I hope everyone here has happy holidays. Yes, absolutely. Whatever you might be celebrating. I will be celebrating a new car. There is actually a winter holiday for the fictional church, and I don't know how much we're going to get into that, because in volume 1 it starts off in summer, like late summer, and it kind of transitions into autumn, and then by the time you are going into volume 2 it is now winter. You're coming into volume 2 basically as like the first heavy snows have settled, so it's definitely winter. And there is a winter holiday in this universe. They call it the Hallowed Hearth, or Hearth, however you prefer to pronounce it. I've heard it both ways. I don't know how much detail we're going to get into that. It's a holiday, it exists. It's basically because I just really wanted them to have a cozy excuse for a holiday. There is lore behind it, but I just don't know if we're gonna bother getting into that. Grumpy times sunshine, it's true. Yay, new car. Yes, I'm very pleased that I was able to get something. I've been looking for a while. But I just need to... It's already insured, I've already paid for it, I don't have to make any payments or anything like that. I got some really cute stickers, and I also got a stupid cup from my company that I work for. And I'm like, I'm not normally a sticker person, but I'm kind of like, I might put some stickers on that bad boy. I don't know, we'll see. Let's see. Cyril's pose isn't quite as... What's the word? Exaggerated? I'm not sure if that's quite the right word. It's not exactly what I envisioned, but I think it's fine. I do like that he like has his hand behind his back, because that's very much a mannerism that he does quite a lot. So they're going to be working on baking something, and then let's see here. Bronte would probably have a baker's rack or something over here. I'm kind of afraid for winter in volume 2, not gonna lie, you know, for the Hellfire animatic. A valid fear. However, I can possibly reassure you. The events of Hellfire are all volume 3 material. So take from that what you will, whether you are reassured or dreading it. But yes, Hellfire is volume 3 material. I don't exactly know. So I have 2 ideas. And I'm thinking that I like this idea better. Let me explain. So rather than this being for lack of a better word, a realistic, which is, you know, in air quotes, rather than this being a realistic sketch where the background of the room is quote-unquote accurate to how it would be in, again, quote-unquote real life. I kind of like the idea of putting like an abstract kind of frame around them that kind of mimics the architecture of the room. Does that make any sense whatsoever, or am I just not making any sense? So basically there will be and it would be centered and everything, obviously, but like just to give you an idea. There would be like little brick arches and like maybe some vines to kind of mimic the ovens that are outside. I don't know, I think something like that would be cute. It'd be a little bit more stylized, a little bit of a different approach from how I normally do my artwork, but I kind of think that'd be fun. So there could be this kind of frame around them. And then, like, thing on the bottom, and then there could be like little loaves of bread down here, because that'd be really cute. Oh god. Yeah, so volume 3 is gonna be a doozy, shall we say. And I was mentioning, kind of like I said a bit earlier, there is a particular plot point that I was not sure if I was going to put it in volume 2 or if it was going to get pushed back to volume 3. It is getting pushed back to volume 3. I'm like 99% certain of that. But that means, oh boy, there's a lot of information for you guys to take in volume 3. But I'm excited. I hope you guys have fun when we get there. I mean, you have to get through volume 2 first, which I'm also just very excited for volume 2, even though I cut out. I say cut out. It's not gone. It's just you have to read volume 3 for it. Even though some information was cut from volume 2 and pushed back to volume 3, there's still a whole lot going on in volume 2, and I'm really excited. We get to spend more time with Sybil and Florence, which I'm excited about. We get to actually interact a little bit more with Mother Superior, which is also very exciting. We have some newcomers to Windermere. I'm very excited. I can't yap about it too much because of spoilers, but I'm very excited. Yeah, so we could do... and then we could have like maybe like, I don't know, some shelves kind of in the background. Like the window or something back here. And once again, I've kind of naturally gravitated towards a centered composition, which I tend to do a lot, especially with Immolation, because the symmetry that's present in Gothic architecture just really, really lends well to centered compositions, but it is what it is. Just to get the general idea. They've got a fancy bakery. They do. It's a fancy bakery for two fancy little bakers. And Cyril. Two fancy little bakers and one grumpy old man. And then it'd be kind of fun if we could see Bronte's little alcove, but you wouldn't really be able to see this, or excuse me, you wouldn't be able to see that from this angle that I've drawn this at. I think it's fine. So imagine that, but centered, with a centered composition. And I'm kind of thinking what I'll do. Let's see here. I forgot about the stick people. Okay. But so that's the base sketch, just to kind of get the idea out. And then if I was to, again, what I normally do, this is why I normally have sketches already prepped before I start a stream, because I will probably trash that whole thing and redo it, because that's normally what happens with my sketches. So what I'd probably do now, having sketched out that whole idea, is have like a centered work table. And another option would be change. Well, so the fun part with art, and by fun I mean frustrating, is when it comes to working on art, I like to be very melodramatic. And I like to have... I like to be melodramatic. And in this case, it'd be really, really cute if Bronte was like working on something. Let's say she's over here. She's gonna have like a similar pose, right? So she's gonna be standing here, working on something or whatever. And it'd be really cute if Cyril, instead of the way he's standing here, is in character and accurate to the book. But it'd also just be really, really cute if he was like completely leaning over her and like really hovering over her, which is also in character. He also would do that. He, in general, likes encroaching on people's space, especially Bronte, but in general, he likes to do that. But he probably wouldn't be doing that in this scenario at this point in the book. But I think it'd be really cute. So I'm like, dang it. What do I do? Do I keep it character accurate, or do I just have Cyril go ham? We might not survive the winter, but it might be more accurate for some characters. Listen, everyone's gonna be fine. They'll be fine. Probably. I guarantee you at least 2 people will survive. That is my promise to you. Because I really... Yes, I want that too. I know, it'd be so cute, and it just... Anytime I have the opportunity to have Bronte and Cyril be like, not quite cuddling, that's not quite the right word, but close. My little heart goes pitter patter. And it'd be kind of cute if, like, so let's say that if he's like leaning over, he would, have his arm like over here on the desk or desk table, whatever. Work table, whatever you want to call it. That's a hand, I promise. And it'd be cute if he's kind of like, that's not. So what he could be doing is they could be looking at the cookbook that she's trying to translate, for lack of a better word. And Cyril does speak the church's old language. He doesn't know like old measurements for baking, but he does know the old language that the church uses. So he could probably be like walking her through like certain things that she's trying to piece together. That'd be actually really, really cute. See, the wheels in my brain are turning. And this could be one of those things that they're doing after hours, where Hugo has already not gone to bed, but Hugo's already like off, enjoying his off time. He's not currently working. So they could be working on kind of translating this book and trying to cook something from it together, which would be so cute. That'd be adorable. My music stopped. Did I really reach the end of my playlist? Hold on. I did. Okay, fine. If I play that Christmas music, I'm gonna get a copyright strike, right? Probably. Is that how it works on YouTube? I don't know. I'm used to Twitch. I'll just replay this one. I'll just replay this little lo-fi mix instead of the Christmas music. You can make Cyril have those other scenarios in his head while he's just standing. Oh boy, just wait till you read volume 2. Cyril's gonna have a whole lot of scenarios in his head that you're gonna hear about out of the whole church. What's the language of the church? So similar to how, like, in the real world, like the Catholic Church has Latin, there is an old language that exists that has since died out, but it was a common language at the time the fictional church was founded, and they kept using it for like their record keeping, and it's kind of evolved into its own separate language. And that's the language that like the elders of the church know how to speak. You have to be at a certain rank to start learning the language, because the church basically is the only place that you can learn it now. You can catch like little bits and pieces, but again, the church language has evolved kind of like in a vacuum, separate from the world for several hundred years. But you have to be like at least a bishop to learn the old language. Like Benjamin is currently learning it. He knows a fair bit, but he's not super proficient with it. Cyril knows it, but it was relatively easy for him to learn because he was already bilingual when he came there, so he kind of had the bonus of like having learned another language before, so it was a little bit easier for him to pick up. Serge speaks the language. Maddock does not speak the language. He's actually not even allowed to learn it because first of all, he's not a bishop, but also he's not even technically a real brother. He's a deacon, so he's a separate thing. He's a fake. I'm kidding. He's not a fake, but he kind of is. But yeah, so you have to be a certain rank in order. Sybil can speak it. She's still learning it. She's probably she's a little bit better than Benjamin, but she's about a comparable level to him in terms of her proficiency. But yeah, it's a ancient language now, but it's kind of evolved within the church, and you can't really learn it in full unless you are learning it through the church. And again, you have to be a certain rank. The cardinals speak it as well. You can yap at the cardinals, and they'll... The problem is the cardinals are like extremely proficient in that language. So even Cyril will like talk to them, and when they want to have an attitude back at him, they just start speaking really, really, really fast, and he's like, all right, I give up. Never mind. It's fine. You don't have to do what I asked you to do. Just I'll do it myself. But yes, and technically, when it comes to like the old language, the spells that all of the church uses are technically always written in that language first, and then they're quote unquote translated to like modern common, which I would say is like English, because I speak English, but you know what I mean. But yeah, technically all of the spells have to be written in that language first and then translated later. So in order to be writing spells of any kind, you really need to know that language, which is part of why the church is so protective of it. Because if you know their language, you can start whipping out spells. And they're like, hey, hang on, you shouldn't be able to do that. Obviously, it's more complicated than that, and it takes more, but it's part of the general premise. They've got elite society there. They have their own little club. Let's see, hold on, why am I getting a text? Okay, there we go. And if Cyril was going to be leaning over her like this, it would be very in character of Cyril to, if he was leaning over and like encroaching on Bronte in this way, it would be very in character of him to still have his cassock on, because his cassock will sting her if it touches her bare skin. Like if she's got like her arm covered by her sleeve and like he brushes against her sleeve, it's not gonna sting. It has to be like contact with her skin. But I'm like, that'd be a very Cyril thing to do, because he's kind of a dick. No magic without the permit, it's true. I'm sorry, you need to have your learner's permit first, and then once you have your permit, you can get your provisional license. But yeah, the old language has like its own grammar structure and everything that they have to adhere to, which is part of why in Volume 1 you really only see, well, I guess technically if you've read to the end you see 2 spells, but you really only see one quote-unquote spoken spell, and that's Immolation. The title of the book, huh? You only really see that one. But the way that they say, I seek, and then whatever it is that they're looking for, that's part of the grammar structure of the original language coming through. So every spell that they use is, if you translate it, it says, I seek whatever it is that they're looking for. So they have to ask for what they're looking for and state what it is. That's why that structure is that way. It's because the old language said, you gotta ask nicely. And she'll think about it, and she'll get back to you in 3 to 5 business days. And she would definitely still have her little apron on, and her apron is very cute. What time is it? Gosh, it's already 1. I probably have like 15 more minutes, because I will need to, I want to bake cookies, take them up to the landlord, and I want to do that while it's still daylight and it gets dark at like 4:30. So I'm gonna need to have time to bake and package and everything, and the dough needs to chill before I can bake it. So I probably, if I was a good baker, which I'm not, I would have made the dough already so it could be chilling in the fridge while I stream. But unfortunately, I did not think that far ahead. Cyril, I'm still waiting for that immolation fanfic with a Black Knight shining spit on it. Oh my goodness. That would be diabolical. You'll get to how to word that. I have a spray bottle to punish Cyril for his terrible thoughts at the ready with volume 2. Let's just say that. Let's just say that a terrible old man, shame on him. Spritz with the water bottle. Terrible. It's gonna be great. Would he have his capelet on? Probably not. Actually, yeah, no, he probably would. I don't know. Would he have taken it off? I don't know. Cyril's outfit has like build your own adventure packages in it, so he can take off pieces of it whenever he wants. Like flour jars and stuff for like cooking ingredients over here. Obviously, we'll have that frame that I kind of talked about, because I think that'd be cute. And maybe I can have just like a linen. I kind of don't want to have like a linen over the entire table, even though Bronte, I'm sure, does do this because it'd be a lot easier to clean and tend to the table. So I'm sure she does have a linen over the work table when she's working on it. But I kind of like the ability to see underneath the table so you can see like their legs. But I don't know. We'll see if I want to do that or if I just want to do like one of those little throw cloths that I kind of had over. I think that creates more interest than just a table linen. And then, because it's going to be after hours, it'll probably already be dark. So actually, what could be really, really cute, I don't know how I'm going to break this down, if it's going to be 4 or 5 of these arches, but there will be arches up here. Have like some lanterns. Have some lanterns kind of hanging down, and then we can maybe have like some small candles. One of those like quintessentially Victorian things where it's got like the little finger holder. Possibly one that Bronte brought from her bedroom. I don't know if the window will be centered, but maybe it'd be cute. And basically, if I do end up doing kind of the 2 companion pieces, it can be, for the bakery, it'll have like the bricks, like the brick arches, and it'll have like the green ivy. And then for the greenhouse, it can be like glass and have like brighter kind of daylight colors, because when they're in the greenhouse, it's daytime. Usually. All that matters is your cookies turn out delicious and you smile to charm the landlord. Yeah, fingers crossed. I really hope she is open to it. There's a perfectly serviceable driveway that I'm just not allowed to park in for reasons unbeknownst to me, but I hope that she'll be open to the idea. It would save me a lot of anxiety. And then I'll probably put, obviously there's going to be the window. There could be shelves of all kinds of goodies and ingredients, because that'd be cute. I love me some clutter. Those shelves are not even, but it's fine. I don't care. I just want to get the sketch done. Do you like the name Margot for your pearly beauty? That could be a cute name. I think it's definitely a contender. I haven't thought at all about what to name that car. And though, funny enough, you could ask Babel if she's still here. I have a weird habit of defaulting almost to names that begin with M. And I never realized that I'm doing it until someone points it out. But for example, I was going through characters for Immolation, and one of the things that my editor does when she goes through is she creates a character sheet, and it basically lists out each character and a description of them so that you can keep track of them throughout the story. and it's really funny. It's not funny, it's sad, but and it's really funny to watch the editor go through and adjust each name to have a description at the end of it saying deceased. So we just have this character deceased, this character deceased, this character deceased. um, but basically, when we kind of go through and look at all of their names, I realize I'm like, oh wow, Madoc, Mara, um, Mitra. Um, see, now I'm gonna forget all my M names. But I start names with M a lot, and I don't know why I just default to it so much. Maud. Um, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Miriam, Maddox's wife. Her name is Miriam. I renamed her to Kira in the Black Knight Shining manuscript, and I might, I might change her name to that officially, just so she doesn't also have an M name, because I have so many, and I don't know why I just default to M names so much. Marcus. Yeah, I don't know why I always default to M names, so I can't argue with an M name. It is apparently on brand for me because I apparently just can't help myself. But yes, this was a quick mystery sketch, an example of why I normally have sketches done and ready to go before stream, because I had to do an entire base sketch just to get the idea out and then land on something completely different, and it still is only a sketch. I haven't actually made a lot of progress. But I hope you guys had fun. I definitely need to get to baking cookies for Bribery Tactics 101. So wish me luck there. But I do hope you guys had a wonderful time. Sorry today was late. I had the weekend of all time. If you've been one of the people who bought a book this month, thank you so much. I've actually had more sales this month than like I think in the past 2 months prior. So thank you so much. If you're one of the people who bought a book, I really do appreciate that. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the read. Thank you very much for the support. I will be streaming. I stream every other Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time when I'm not running late. But yes, so hopefully I will catch you guys for next stream as well. Thank you as always. You've been wonderful. Wonderful to host you. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I will keep you guys updated on if the bribes worked. And send your thoughts and prayers and condolences to my poor man, Joey, who has been forced into retirement after that horrible attack on his person. I did, however, salvage his little emblems as keepsakes. I did keep them. So I have a little something to remember my childhood first car by. Poor little guy. But yes, thank you guys very much. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys next time. I hope to catch you then. Have a great rest of your weekend. And a very Merry Christmas if you are celebrating. Happy holidays.